When a person becomes a U.S. citizen, this comes with much more protection than being a permanent resident. Permanent residents can still be deported and can lose their permanent residency because they have traveled outside of the U.S. too long. U.S. citizens, assuming this was legally obtained, as was their prior permanent residency, can never be deported. No matter how long you stay outside of the U.S., no matter the type of crime, although you can always be put in jail like any other U.S. citizen, so don't commit any crimes. So why wouldn't you want to jump at the chance of becoming a U.S. citizen by applying through naturalization? First and foremost, this process can potentially trigger the start of deportation proceeding against you in some circumstances. To avoid removal, you should consider if any of your prior conduct, criminal or travel, can land you in removal proceedings. So how could travel land you in removal proceedings? A couple of ways. As part of the naturalization process, you must state all of your entries and exits outside of the United States of 24 hours or more since becoming a permanent resident. When you get to the interview, the officer compares the U.S. government tracking of your entries and exits to date since you became a resident against what you actually listed on the form. To intentionally leave stuff off of the form is not a good idea. Not only could you be found ineligible for abandoning your green card, but you could also be denied your citizenship for misrepresenting your dates on the form and lying to immigration. If your dates show that you've been out of the U.S. for extensive periods that cause the officer to believe you've abandoned your green card, the officer may either deny your case or worse, issue one of those NTAs and place you in removal proceedings to argue to an immigration judge why you did not abandon your status. Indeed, permanent residents have to be very careful with how long they stay outside of the U.S. Not only does this give off the appearance of abandonment of your residency, but it could also make you ineligible for citizenship, which you have now wasted a lot of time and money to try to obtain. If the permanent resident has been outside of the U.S. for 1 year or more, this also breaks what's called continuous residence for purposes of applying for naturalization. A permanent resident has to be in the U.S. not only half of the qualifying period of time, whether it's the 3 or 5 years as a resident prior to applying for naturalization, but they also cannot be outside of the U.S. for 1 year or more and still remain eligible for citizenship. Here's wishing you the best of luck and hoping you too can become a U.S. citizen soon.